Hello, this is Kathy Lewis from Financial Information Systems, and welcome to this morning's webinar. We are looking at the Concur system, and we're going to be looking at setting up your profile. Before you begin using any of the features of the application, it's important to go in and create your profile settings. What you're looking at is the Concur homepage. Remember that you will access this through the PIT portal. Once you log into my.pit, you're going to click on a link that will look similar to this link in the top left corner here, and it will take you to the Concur homepage. Across the top left corner of your screen, you'll see links to the different features of the application. Before you begin using any of these features, again, it's important to set up profile settings. To do this, you're just going to click on Profile and Profile Settings. You'll see a list of settings along the left side of your screen, and we're just going to work our way down through these settings. It should not take you any more than about 10 or 15 minutes to go through your profile. If you want a guide to follow as you're doing this, I would suggest that you print out the quick reference card for profile settings, and you can easily follow that guide. So I'm going to start with personal information. As you're going through these settings, pay attention to the ones that say required. The first piece of information it's asking you for is your name. You'll notice that your first name and last name automatically populate, and this is coming from your HR record. It will ask you to enter your middle name or middle initial, or note if you don't have a middle name. You can also add a suffix if that's applicable. Notice this important note, and it's asking you to make sure that your first, middle, and last name, as it appears here, will match the photo ID that you'll be presenting at airport security. The way that your name appears here is how it's going to print on your airline ticket. And of course, you want that to match up to the ID that you present as you go through the airport security. If by chance you need to make any adjustments to how your name is appearing here, maybe you have a nickname in your first name field, you'll have to do that through the payroll department. Fields that are not marked as required, you can just move through. So company information, work address, home address, we're going to skip over that. It does want contact information, and it's asking you for a work and home phone number. Enter a phone number that you would want to use if Anthony Travel would need to get a hold of you. So you might want to put a cell phone number in. You can also use an office number, and they can be cell phone numbers or landlines. Next, it will ask you to register a mobile device. Now, this is not required. If you don't have a mobile device, that's not going to prevent you from using the system to book your travel. But the advantage of registering a mobile device is that the system will be able to send you email alerts when you're traveling. If there should be gate changes, changes in your departure times, things like that, the system can alert you. You can enter multiple devices here, and all you have to do is click on Add a New Device. You can give that device a descriptive name, select the type of device that it is, and then just enter the cell number, whether it's a primary phone or not, and whether you agree to receive messages from the system to that number. And then just click OK. Below that, it will ask you to verify your email address. Your email address, your @PIT email address, will automatically display here. And I've already verified my address, but it's just going to have a link here for verify. And when you click on that link, the system will send you an email, and it does this within a minute or two. All you have to do is open up that email and there'll be a code. So copy the code, paste it here, and just click OK, and that email will be verified. The reason why you might want to verify your email is the system then connects your Concur account with that email address. And one of the advantages of that is that you will be able to email receipts that might, maybe you have electronic images of receipts on your computer, and you can email them to receipts@concur.com, and they will be available on your Concur homepage for you to attach to expense reports. Emergency contact information is not required, but if you're traveling maybe overseas or for an extended period of time and you want to enter a contact, you can do that. Anthony Travel would have access to this information. If you have any travel preferences, whether it be for airfare or hotels or car rentals, you can enter that information. Maybe you're eligible for discounts through these different organizations. You can also note that, and it will be able to apply that information when you're booking your airfare or booking a hotel or car rental. If you participate in any frequent traveler programs, frequent flyer, or maybe you get points for staying at a certain hotel, again, you can add that information. Just click on Add a Program, put in the information. It will be able to apply that when you do your travel booking. Maybe you're a frequent traveler and you are registered with the TSA for pre-check. You can enter that TSA pre-check number here. As a default, it's going to fill in your gender and date of birth. Notice that it masks your date of birth. You don't have to change this, just leave it at its default setting. You can enter passport and visa information. Just click on Add a Passport or Add a Visa to open up those screens. If in internet expenses you had people designated as like travel arrangers, delegates, people who can work on your behalf, they will automatically be carried over into the Concur system and they will display here and automatically be given the ability to book travel for you. If you need to add new delegates, I will show you momentarily how to do that. If you will have a travel card, that travel card will automatically display in your profile settings. It will say corporate card, it is a MasterCard. The information from that card is automatically loaded. But what I did is I went into Edit and I did check the boxes to say that this will be the default card that I use when I'm booking airfare, car rentals, hotel. So just by moving through those screens, I've gotten all the way through your information and travel settings. If I look under Request, one of the things you'll notice is Request Settings and Expense Settings. These options are nearly identical. So you don't have to enter settings under both. So what we recommend is just put your settings in under Request and they will carry through to Expense. And if you make any changes under Request, those changes also carry through. Under Request Information, you will be set up with a default charge account. If you typically use a reference number when you travel, that will not be entered, though, as part of the default. So you do want to add that. I've added a number for myself and then just save. This number will display when you go in to enter expense reports. It will display as a default number, but it can be changed for any of your expense reports. Another setting that's important under request is request delegates. Now, as I mentioned, if you had people that were entering expense reports or booking travel for you in internet expenses, when the system went live, those people were carried over. But if you have new people that you want to designate as delegates, it is the responsibility of the traveler to set up those delegates. So if there's a new administrator in my department and I want to give that person the authority to book travel for me or to enter expense reports for me, I have to delegate that person in the system. So I click on Delegates and Add. And I'm going to search for that person. And then I check off the boxes that correspond to the features that I want to give them access to. Can prepare means they can prepare expense reports. When you select that, it automatically checks can view receipts. So they have the ability to view any of the receipts for your expenses that are loaded in the system. If your department requires formal requests to travel before any booking is done, this person will have the ability to enter requests in the system for you. Now, there will be another setting here that will say can book travel. Some of these settings are not in here yet since we're only a week out from the go live date, but that should be in here within the next day or so. Can book travel means that they have the ability to go in and use the travel feature on your behalf, book your airfare, hotel, etc. Receive emails. You probably want that person to be able to get system-generated emails. That would be relevant to the status of the travel booking or the status of the expense report as it goes through the approval workflow. Now, notice here that Emily has the authority to approve. So if I'm an approver and I want to delegate that authority to someone else, I would do the same thing, just go under Delegates and Add, but I'm giving this person approval authority. I might be doing this permanently or maybe just temporarily while I'm out of the office. Maybe I'm going to be on vacation and I just put the dates in that I'm going to be out of the office. And I would also want to check that this person can receive approval emails. Again, as the expense report is going through the approval workflow, I would be notified of the status of it. When I come back from vacation, I can remove that approval authority. Under Delegates for, these would be the people that I'm a delegate for. So they've gone into the system and delegated authority to me to do these different functions on their behalf. Notice I cannot change them, but if a person would leave the university, I can select that person and delete them. I'm no longer a delegate for them. And also, I could delete people from this list also. So you can see we don't necessarily have to go to each of these settings, and this is where the quick reference card is helpful because it will tell you if any of these individual settings are required or whether they're just optional. So once you request your delegates, the next setting that you'll want to go to is under Other Settings, and it's e-receipt activation. Now, e-receipts are electronic receipts. Many of the vendors, whether they're airline carriers or hotels, they have the ability to provide you with electronic receipts. So it does benefit you to activate this. There will be a link here. All you have to do is click on the link to activate. When vendors have the capability of providing e-receipts, those e-receipts will actually get loaded right into the system. So you don't have to send them from your email into the system. They automatically populate into the system, so you'll be able to apply them to your expense reports. So that's a nice feature that you want to take advantage of. Now, lastly, the last setting is mobile registration. All users of the application will have the ability to download 3 free applications to their cell phone or other mobile device. Now, before you actually download these applications, the one thing that you want to do under mobile registration is set a PIN. So you'll be prompted right at this screen to set your PIN. Make it easy. It doesn't have to correspond to your PIN account, the password for your PIN account. You can make this PIN whatever you want. So make it easy, like a 4-digit number, something like that. You only need to use this PIN during the download process the first time you're logging into the application. So set your PIN. Now you can find these applications right here on Download the App. This will allow you to download one of them, the Concur mobile app. You can also find these under App Center. And I want to show you what the 3 apps are. These are also on your quick reference card, and your quick reference card does provide you with directions on downloading these to your mobile device. So one of the ones is TripIt. TripIt is an organizing app. It's a travel organizer. So where this can be helpful is if you're traveling for maybe an extended period of time, you have multiple hotel stays, multiple flights, it will organize all that information into one spot. And the other thing it does, it puts things in chronological order by date. It will also notify you of any changes. Again, if there should be delays in flights or gate changes, anything like that, it will notify you in this application. Concur Mobile is a mobile version of the Concur application that will work on your cell phone. The advantage of having Concur Mobile is that you can take pictures of receipts while you're traveling, and those pictures will automatically get loaded into the Concur application. They'll be available to apply to expense reports, whether you're entering your own expense report or having a delegate do it for you. So instead of returning from the trip and having a stack of paper receipts, you, again, if you take pictures of them, those pictures, those images will automatically, within just like a minute, get loaded into the Concur application. You can start expense reports from the mobile device. If you are an approver, you will have access to reviewing and taking action on expense reports from your mobile device. The third application is called Expenselt. Remember, these are all free. And here's Expenselt. Expenselt works somewhat like Concur in that you can capture receipts. So you'll see a little camera icon that allows you to take pictures of your receipts. But in addition to taking those pictures, what Expenselt will do is categorize the receipt into an expense. It has optical character recognition software built into it. It's able to scan the receipt, and from that scanning, create an expense out of it. That expense gets loaded into the Concur app. You're able to pull it into an expense report. So they're nice applications to take advantage of. If you don't have a mobile device, it's certainly not going to prevent you from being able to use the Concur application to book your travel or use it to create your expense reports. But again, these are just nice applications that you could take advantage of with a mobile device. I'm going to go back to the home page. Anytime you need to refresh your screen, just click on the Concur link. Now, if I go into Expense, this is where you go to enter expense reports. Under Available Expenses, I'll be able to see the images that I took using Expenselt. So let's say I was doing a presentation and I made an emergency purchase and I bought a flash drive. And I bought that at the book center and I took a picture of the receipt using Expenselt. So here's the image of the receipt. And you can see that it created the expense for it. So instead of typing this up, I can now just select it, and when I'm doing my expense report, I can move it to one of my current reports if it's applicable to that report, or I can move it to a new one. So this saves me the time of typing up this expense. Now, once I move this into an expense report, if it's not the right expense type, sometimes Expenselt is pretty good about categorizing this correctly. Sometimes it's close but not totally accurate. When I move this into an expense report, I will be able to change that expense type. Under Available Receipts, I can see the receipts that I captured using the Concur mobile app. If I click on the magnifying icon, I can magnify this image and view the details of it. But instead of having to scan the paper receipts, I will be able to upload these. Well, they're already uploaded, but I'll just now be able to attach these to the appropriate expense report. So when I'm creating an expense report, all these will show up as available receipts. When I'm working in the Concur application and I need to sign on as someone else, maybe I'm a delegate for other people, I'll be able to do that also under Profile and then just acting as another user. And this is where I'll be able to see the people that I've been designated as a delegate for. So I just select that person and start my session. And now I'm acting as a delegate for this person. And when I'm done entering the expense report or booking the travel, I can just click on Done. So that completes the Concur getting started in setting your profile options. And thank you for watching this webinar.